Mother, man.
Hi, this is Doug.
And this is Donna.
And you're listening to Murder Metal Mayhem.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder Metal Mayhem!
All right, wow.
What the fuck?
Hell yeah, it's Tuesday, and we're throwing down a new Murder Metal Mayhem, and we're in Horns High Studios for the Horns High Podcast Network. So,
fucking A we are.
Episode 209 going down tonight. I got Chris here with me, and Joey over there in Ohio at the 419 Studios. Joey, what's up? How you doing?
Shit, fucking hanging out. Just making it through this winter.
Fuck this
Hell
winter.
yeah,
it's
dude.
cold as fuck here. I don't know about there. But
Oh, dude, it's been ridiculous. And if it's any consolation, Joey, I saw an article in our newspaper here about some fool out there. It was like a video freeze frame of a guy stealing catalytic converters.
Right,
So they're doing it here just as much as in the 419, I bet. So, unfortunately, there's just a lot of craziness going down. But good to see you, and we're ready to do it tonight. We're going to try to see if we can avoid getting ourselves canceled tonight. So we're gonna make an effort. Joey, your girlfriend was questioning if we're going to be able to pull this off without stepping in it all 10 ways till Sunday.
Yeah, she was curious, not because we're fucking assholes, because we're stupid.
No, I totally agree. I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
We'll accidentally say something that pisses somebody off that we don't realize.
Right.
Of course, not trying to at all. No, for sure. All right, well, what T-shirts we got on, Chris? I know you're bundled up there, but what do you got going on?
I forgot for a second. Oh, yeah, the Gorgy Appetite for Gore shirt.
Nice.
Yeah, fucking rocking it.
Very nice. Joey, what do you got happening over there?
I'm rocking this fucking Putrid Pile Tony Crossgrove shirt.
Nice.
Pretty recently, and got the Murder Machine Clothing fucking hoodie. Got the fucking hat that Shawback and Courtney got me with the weed leaves all over it.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, I'm fucking rocking this. I got this fucking new Megadeth lighter
shit,
here.
dude.
Nice.
That's dope.
It's fun. I think this is like the fourth Megadeth lighter I had, because I had the one.
Lasted
remember?
forever.
And I was. I talked about it on the podcast, how it was the longest lasting Bic I ever had. And then after that, Stephanie bought me a Megadeth lighter because she heard it on the podcast.
Hell yeah, dude.
And then, of course, I found the Rust and Peace lighter, so I had to buy that one.
Gotta have Rust and
Peace. Of course.
Then I saw this one. I saw this, I think, at a head shop or maybe Circle K, I don't know, the other day, and I was like, oh, I need that too. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Megadeth.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. And I got a Possessed shirt on tonight. Just because I just thought I was in kind of a death metal mood. Been listening to some death metal here lately.
Sometimes you got to pull some shirts out of the cobwebs.
That's right. Yeah, I haven't worn this one in a while. So, all right. Well, last week we did a good one with our buddy Tex. As always, when we do a prison story, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Got a call on him, and we did San Quentin last week, which was a good episode.
Quentin!
And we did the history of the place and some of the famous inmates there and some of the brutal shit that's gone on inside those walls. Definitely a very iconic U.S. prison. I mean, it's fucking notorious as hell. So that was a good one. And then, Joey, you did a good feature, and it was different. What did you do last week, man?
I talked about Morrisound Studios down in Tampa, Florida, and everything that they did for death metal in the heyday of death metal, American death metal.
Oh, shit, yeah, dude. That was such a cool, like Chris was saying, like going through the releases and like in 1 year, like 5, 6, 7, like
Jesus
epic
Christ.
fucking albums. Like, oh my God,
Yeah,
like the
straight
first
up masterpieces.
Yeah, like almost every Death album. I mean, like everyone but the first one. I mean, just like fucking ridiculous, even just that would be impressive, let alone all the other stuff.
Everything else was so much
unbelievable.
It blows my mind because I was sitting there the other day. I was working on some Goremonger tracks, and I was thinking about the Morrisound shit. And I was like, man, them dudes just got to sit there and watch people come in and lay down like the sickest shit constantly, and like got to watch it unfold before their eyes before anybody saw it. You know? Fucking crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. That was really, really great. And we had a good killer cage match as always, and just the usual stupidity. So we were passing like 900 to that one today. So that was cool. So thank you to those that have checked it out. And, Tech's always good to have on. Ladies love it when Tex is on. And unless you want to get Tex
Cool
coming to kick your ass. Yeah, LL Cool T. Unless you want Tex coming to whip your ass, you need to go listen to that episode if you haven't. So. All right, tonight we're going to be doing a feature on a very interesting case from Spokane, Washington. A person by the name of Donna Perry, a transgender woman who murdered 3 prostitutes many years before her surgery when she was Douglas Perry. So
tries to use that as defense.
Different.
Yeah, what do you do, man? What do you do?
Yeah, she's like, I don't know anything about that, and it's an interesting case, and I thought, it's just so different. Why not do it? It's a story of violent murder, gun obsession to the fucking max.
Definitely.
Wow. A case
Loved
that
guns.
Even the FBI was like completely like dumbfounded. Like they told them like, we've never done this before. Like,
don't know what to
good
do.
Luck, let us know how you can make out.
Right. Give us some notes.
Yeah. They were just dumbfounded because nobody had ever used that defense, about I was a different gender then, and all
I was
that.
a different person.
Very, very interesting. So, Donna's trying to blame it on Doug, and it's very challenging for us tonight to do this without stepping in it. So we're going to do our best. We don't mean anything. This is what we do. We do dark humor. So if that's not your thing, then maybe you want to bow out of this one.
Yeah, it's probably
Get the fuck out of here!
Hey, yo, you wasted 3 fucking aprons on that guy. I have the horns tonight, and I'm going to be doing my feature on the incredible bass player of Cannibal Corpse, Mr. Alex Webster. Absolute fucking animal on the bass. I mean, just an absolute beast. I've got my Alex Webster Spectre bass here in the studio with me tonight, the one I used at the end of Low 12 there.
We'll have to get some pictures to pop up.
Yeah, we'll get some pictures, and it's just cool seeing it. I really love that bass, and so we're going to talk about him in the metal segment and what he meant to extreme metal, bass players, and just musicians all around. And then
he
Joey
definitely hung out at Morrisound, too.
Oh,
Yeah,
for
oh,
sure.
100.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. And Joey, you got a good lost classic for us tonight.
I got a lost classic tonight, yep.
Hell yeah, we'll do that in the metal segment. And we're going to be throwing down a new killer cage match tonight.
Yes.
That's when we get a list of 75 killers, 75 objects for them to fight with, and a variable in the cage so they can fight till the death. It's always fun. And Chris, we got listeners that provide some random numbers so we know who's fighting.
This evening we have the one and only Mrs. C.K. Laura Kovacs fucking coming in.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Laura. We got Ray, call me Daddy McFalls.
Man.
Fucking, there he goes again.
Another one.
And we got Clarence Dillon.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Thanks, y'all. We appreciate
Thanks,
y'all.
everybody. Yeah, we
Fuck
appreciate it. We got a good one tonight in the cage, Joey. Who is fighting tonight? This should be interesting. And another one that let's try not to get ourselves in trouble with.
First up, we have Dennis Rader, BTK.
Oh, hell yeah.
While I was doing fucking, research for the case we're doing tonight, BTK definitely came up a few times in comparison models and shit.
Right.
And then he's going to be fighting up against fucking, no disrespect, Tommy Karate.
Hell yeah.
A.
Brutal motherfucker, that's for sure. The mob hitman who did
I'm going to have to make sure he wins just so I don't
Yeah, we don't need it. We don't need it. This might be the only rigged killer cage match in killer cage match history.
I mean, this is a mafia. Everything's rigged.
And, not to let, the vowel at the end of my name impair my decision at all tonight. Now, so this should be an epic beatdown. Going to have a couple objects, Chris, and a variable, and even a song to make it interesting. And we'll do that in the Mayhem segment. And big thanks to everyone out there that listens to us. We really do appreciate it. This week we're at about 2,500 listens, so that was a good week.
You guys are the shit. We know we're still idiots, but thank you for sticking around.
That's right. And we do appreciate it. It's just so humbling to see these places that are in the top 10, these cities all over the world. Brisbane, Queensland in Australia has been on the list here lately. That town in, was it Norway? I'm just completely blown away. So thank you guys. Really, it's humbling. We're at 645,000 total listens, so we're getting closer to that 666. So thank you. And we got a good one, though, on our plate tonight. Taking a little trip to the West, hoping to avoid a chick that likes to play with guns and do some crazy shit. So, Chris?
Oh, man, we should probably go cut our balls out before we murder people.
There we go. All right, Chris, a little love song there.
Hell yeah, fucking Forced Gender Reassignment by Cattle Decapitation.
Yeah, perfect song for tonight. I mean, you're the one that said this last week. I was like, fuck yeah, Chris, good call.
And anybody out there fucking listening, if you ain't watched that video, go check it out.
Oh my God, that's a tough one to watch, man.
Go check that shit out.
It's fucking brutal as fuck.
Make sure you got your kids around.
Yeah, and eat like spaghetti or something.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to be talking about the interesting case of Donna Perry, as we mentioned, originally Douglas Perry, and the murder of 3 prostitutes in Spokane, Washington over a 4-month period in 1990. He had this obsession with guns stemming back to a fucked up childhood that would end up doing him in later when he was Donna Perry after his surgery. Very different kind of case for sure. And we're going to dig into this one and hopefully not dig ourselves in a fucking hole that we can't get out of. But, Chris, we have seen serial killers blame their murders on an alter ego, like Son of Sam and Gacy did, But this is a whole different level, man.
Yeah, this is like it's a transgender woman who started out born as a dude, but like trying to use that as a defense, basically, like we'll get into, is basically like saying, like, I was born a dude, I made like $50 million as a dude. Now, so in that case, you didn't make that money.
Right.
You're a whole different person now. That's somebody else's money.
Oh, sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but this is like trying to erase some bad shit.
Yeah, this is trying to erase some fucking fucked up shit. Like,
yeah, so this is definitely different, and like I said, on a whole different level than the Gacy claiming the alter ego and some of that nonsense he tried to pull. Now, Joey, do you think our true crime fans are going to know about this one? I think this is a pretty obscure case, dude.
I feel like it's pretty obscure, too, so I feel like, maybe a first time for a lot of people. Maybe gained a little traction in the true crime field because of the transgender fact and how big that's become, in our society in the last few years. So maybe that brought a little more attention to it. But overall, I think it's going to be a new case for a lot of people.
And interesting that there's been quite a bit of prostitute murderers in that whole area. Green River, we're going to talk about it. Yates. Which they actually confused some of these with the Yates case, so we're going to get into that. Right. So that's a fascinating. Like, why is that the case? Like, what's in the fucking water over there that they're fucking?
We've done it before, dude.
Killing
there's bodies in the water over there.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, right.
Jesus Christ.
People don't be able to be looking for prostitutes, so they're just like, for real.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, it's like the perfect victim, Now, I know I had never heard of this one before. I just stumbled on it on YouTube, like a lot of these I find. But, when I saw it, I knew it would be an interesting one, a challenging one for us to do. Like I said, because, the way everybody wants to jump all over somebody for not being understanding and so forth. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about a case that happened. And we're not going to get into all that whole argument because that's another day.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, do what you want.
I just
basically.
know you can't fucking use it as a defense.
Right. So this is not a crazy high body count like a lot of these we do, but there are some other sensational parts about it, as we've been saying. So a lot of angles with this one. I thought it'd be a good one. Now,
it's definitely a different kind of case.
Yes, for sure. Now, there's not a lot of stuff out there on Donna Perry, but we're going to start with her story as Douglas Perry. He was born 1952 in Omak, Washington, which is a pretty rural part of the state, northwest part of Washington state. The family owned an orchard and the documentary called it a hyper masculine type environment. A lot of lumberjacks and people doing heavy construction. So he was born in that sort of environment. He was actually sexually abused by his own father, which is so fucked up, at age 4. And his dad died 3 years later, so he's 7. He loses his dad, but what an awful fucking piece of shit he was.
Which is weird because he still had some kind of bond because of the gun situation.
Right.
Even at that young of an age, his dad take him out target practicing and shit and fucking teach him guns.
He was like a military gun expert.
Right. It had to be Navy. Never mind.
So yeah, his dad got him really into this, and it stayed with him. Obviously, he became a really over the top with guns, which we're going to get to. And that's another thing, I think all of us are, all about, people should be able to own guns. That's, their prerogative. Right. It's your right. As long as it's legal, do what you want. So that whole argument, if you're going to try to get us on a gotcha with that stuff,
I don't care.
We don't care about that either. So his mom, though, dies. She was institutionalized with schizophrenia when he was very young. So he is basically kind of bouncing around, probably being raised by relatives or maybe even in the foster system.
Out on the streets.
Yeah. I mean, he was, not a good childhood, that's for sure.
Right.
So, and Chris, we've done a lot of these cases with these guys from these fucked up environments, man.
The ratio to fucked up fucking childhoods and shit to good child is way off.
Yeah. This is definitely the norm.
Yeah, this is normal for serial killer, fucking murder shit.
Right.
Like, definitely. And a lot of them have the whole getting raped or sexually abused by your father or mother or other
uncle,
fucking
or whatever,
other relative, whatever. It start off like that, and that's just basically how they're raised and born, and it kind of desensitizes and makes them think that that's the way fucking life is. Like,
yeah, and I mean, there's entire TV shows, I know podcasts that weigh the whole, are they born that way or was it their environment? Or kind of a combination.
Nurture and nature.
Nurture versus nature, exactly. So, I think that is, definitely an argument to be made. But most of these guys, like you said, Chris, are a fucking train wreck when it comes to how they were raised, which is just terrible.
Right.
So as he's entering adulthood, he's getting into all sorts of trouble. He's doing shit, as far back as 1974 when he would have been 21. But in 87, things get a little bit more involved. He's arrested for reckless endangerment. In 87, they bust him with 49 guns.
Shit, yeah.
And 20,000 rounds of ammunition and a pipe bomb in his apartment. So
it's probably the one pipe bomb that got him in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, holy shit, Joey, that is quite the stash of friggin' weapons there, man. Holy crap.
I mean, from the beginning to the end, whether this is a male or a female at the certain time period.
Yeah.
Love that shit.
Love the guns the whole time.
Definitely. That's the truth. That's the one constant, and that's what fucking did him in.
That's what happens.
So this dude is really into guns, weapons of all kind, but this is his first felony. So every time they arrest him, they're finding more and more weapons. They had the detectives on in that documentary I watched where they're like, every time we went there were more guns. Like, where the fuck is this guy getting all these guns? Like, the first time is 49. Like, beyond that, like, wow. Like, where did he get the money?
Get all these fucking guns?
Yeah, because he wasn't like a rich dude. Like, he was like barely fucking getting by on like. He was getting disability.
That's out there robbing people for guns.
Yeah, so it's just unbelievable. Thousands of rounds every time, more weapons. In '94, he gets busted with dozens and dozens of weapons, including an AK-47. And when he talks about his guns, he talked about them like they were a lover, like caring for him.
Caressing them, just
definitely fucking weird. He was jacking off with the fucking gun.
Oh man, he probably put the barrel in his butt.
Very possible, very possible. But he was really into these guns. Beyond just like a guy that likes to shoot guns, okay?
Probably take the muzzle loader and just fuck the muzzle loader because it's got a big opening, just like, I'm lubing up my fucking barrel. Leave me alone.
We might have to put him in the Kiiller cage match list just because it'd be fun to have him in the cage. Because you never know what you're going to get. So, Joey, the psychiatrists at the prison are definitely fucking concerned about this dude, man.
Yeah, they were trying to, warn the people if he was going to get released or not. They were like, look, this guy, he has a definite hatred of women and prostitutes in general, and his a huge part of what he was mad about was the fact that they were able to reproduce, something that no matter how much he would be able, he would never be able to do that himself. So he was kind of jealous of that,
right?
And the fact that he was like so fucking pissed off the fact that these women who sold their pussies to people had this great fucking gift given to them in life, and they fucking just threw it away like that,
Yeah.
Fucking hated it.
Yeah, the psychiatrists, like you said, they were warning him and nobody wanted to fucking listen.
Yeah.
And Chris, when he's in prison, though, he's talking to his cellie about some shit he had been doing.
Yeah, he fucking talked about that he killed 9 prostitutes, fucking, and where he put the bodies and everything. It was just fucked up because, like, a couple of them that he's claimed were actually ones that he did and said where the bodies were, and they never did anything about it. Like, oh shit, he actually knew what the fuck's going on.
Right.
So that's fucking nuts that, like, this dude's like admitting to it. At least 3 of them that they know of, because like he said 4, they only know of 3. So they said 9. I mean,
like a lot of these cases, there could be a lot more. We just don't really know.
But yeah, they didn't. He said the location of a couple bodies, and nobody did anything about it. Like, oh shit, let's check this guy out.
Yeah, that's definitely fucked up. But there were prostitutes that he took back to his apartment, and so they were looking at all these weapons and freaking out. And one actually flags a cop down to let him know about all these fucking guns at this dude's house. And of course,
he just happened to be driving by as she's talking to the cop and shit.
Right.
Like, hey, this fucking dude. Yeah, they're like, hey, this fucking dude, you got to see that. Wait, there he fucking goes right there. Go, no, that's the guy. You need to check his ass out, bro.
Yeah, and the cops know he's a felon, so he's not supposed to have any guns or ammunition. So that's how he keeps getting in trouble. And he's even got a crossbow here now. So he's like going Game of Thrones on this shit. He's all about it. Now, Joey, the way Perry had a thing for prostitutes, though, reminds me of Green River Killer, especially, the way he kind of, hated on them and, like, looked down on them for what they were doing, like Green River did.
Yeah.
What do you think? Prostitution,
unfortunately, is, like they say, it's a high-risk profession, and there's a saturation of serial killers that end up in places where there's a lot of prostitution. So, in Washington, where we're talking about, and you got people like Ridgway and Yates, and there's a whole bunch from up in that area, like you were Bundy. Saying, what's in the water and shit. But it's fucked up if you look at it. Like, you look at places like that, you look at New York, Just a lot of places where, there's a lot of serial killer activity. There's also a lot of prostitution. Because unfortunately, it kind of goes hand in hand. Truck drivers with truck stops.
Right.
The only thing I'll say that's kind of breaks that mold and kind of throws my theory out of whack is, fucking Las Vegas, Sin City, where there's fucking prostitution everywhere.
But it's legal.
There's not real. But there's not really a ton of serial killers that I hear about coming out of there.
That's a good point. I don't know if we've ever talked about a serial killer in Vegas.
Well, I said, fucking the prostitution's legal there, so it's like more regulated, and people keep track of them more.
That's true.
They're not just out there doing all the legal in the streets, hiding from the cops. They're actually being watched.
Yeah. Yeah, the government's getting that tax dollar, so they're going to be watching that vagina there a little closer,
But you even see, like, up in, like Alaska and shit, up in fucking Juneau, or they're talking about where there's a huge, consolidation of prostitution going on in the city or whatnot.
Right.
And you hear about fucking killers fucking stalking and hunting there, too.
Very transient type of people, seasonal workers and stuff. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. It's just interesting how you have these pockets like this, but what is it about the Washington state? Like, that's just weird. So now there's this other, there was another serial killer, as we mentioned, going on. One of the ones you just said, Joey, Robert Yates. His crimes were going on around the same time, and initially these murders were confused with the Yates murders. But the fact that Doug Perry killed his victims with a gun is a totally different kind of MO.
So, like,
I don't remember how Yates killed them, but I don't know if it was strangulation, which is the typical, with these kind of murders. But I don't know. I don't know if you know, Joey, what Yates.
I don't remember.
He's on the list. He's not on the schedule, but he's definitely one I'd like to do.
Dude, when I was like looking for stuff about Perry, fucking. It was just a podcast I never seen before. I was just like, I just want to see what they had to say or whatever. I'm listening to it, and it wasn't a very good podcast. So I kept listening until it got to the point where they're like, yep. And they got it confused with the Green River Killer, Robert Yates. I was like, done. I was like, done.
Yeah, I've had moments like that before. Like, no.
Wait, you just called Robert Yates the Green River Killer? Yeah. You're done.
I mean, Yates killed 11 that they know of. So, yeah, he's definitely a good one for one of these days. But they had him confused for a while,
You can't confuse Yates with Ridgeway, though. No, come on, man.
No, you really can't. Now, Doug Perry killed prostitute Yolanda Sapp in February of 1990. Her body is found posed in a sexually explicit way where prostitutes were known to take customers for sex. She's 26 and a mother of 2. She's got a drug problem, which of course is very common with prostitutes. But she's found in this remote area naked, shot in the head 3 times. Her clothes, purse, and jewelry were never found. So that's the first one that we know of that he did.
Yeah, that's the one, like, she always had on a certain necklace or bracelets or whatever, and they couldn't find that shit.
Yeah, and then Chrissy strikes a month later, though, March of 90. What does he do then?
She got found, Nikki Lowe got found under the Green Street Bridge.
Right.
Shot in the head with a .22, dude, and like posed up, like so everybody could see what was going on, like just stripped naked, partially naked, but yeah, like he did the same thing. Like, this is what I'm gonna do. You need to see what happens to you women
when you do this.
Yeah, when you do this, you're
it's
done.
Fucked up. It really is like playing gods in a way, right? And Joey, Doug Perry strikes yet again in May of 1990 with his last victim. And this one, she put up a fucking fight, man. What was the deal with her?
Yeah, Kathy Brisk, she was a prostitute, but she was also, a mom and a grandma by that point. But he shot her
probably because her daughter was a prostitute too.
Probably.
Yeah, right.
Possibly.
But he shot her 3 times, like fucking in the head, chest, and in the arm.
Yeah.
But she's still trying to fight this guy off, and
there was like a blood trail they followed, so she was like running away from him and fighting him, and it was badass.
She did succumb to the injuries and did pass away, unfortunately. But she did. She put up a fight.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely led to this whole thing blowing wide open, because the police found all sorts of torn clothing kind of strewn all over the place. Like I said, signs of a struggle. Her skull is fractured. There were clumps of her hair found.
Jesus.
She ends up getting his DNA, though, under her fingernails, which is common with these kind of incidents. And at the time, of course,
she had chunks.
Yeah, like chunks of fucking skin under her fucking,
yeah. And at the time, though, DNA is still very new, but they knew enough to save it all and do the testing, you know, when the technology was more, state of the art. And they knew the 3 victims were shot with a .22. So, you know, they're seeing, obviously, the commonality here of these 3 victims in short order, all shot with a .22. And these 3 murders, though, go cold. They don't have any other evidence. Doug Perry,
who the fuck it is.
Yeah, they run. You know, even if they ran the DNA, well, they would have. No, at that time they weren't testing.
They weren't doing that. Yeah,
that's right. So I'm getting ahead of myself. So in 2000, though, Doug Perry finally decides he's done being a male, and he goes to Bangkok, Thailand, to have the gender reassignment surgery. In 2005, the police start going through some of those old cold cases, and this one gets another look, and that's when they submitted the DNA from Kathy Brisbo's fingernail clippings. And now that the DNA is in the system to see if there's a hit, they find out
all 3 of them are matched. Yeah,
it's male DNA, so they definitely know that they know they have something to compare to, but they at the time didn't have his DNA in their system. So the police there, Chris, they get the lab to do that full profile.
Yeah, they got a full DNA male DNA profile, and they're like, they ran it through the system, like you said, but Doug Perry's DNA wasn't in the system, because like now if you go to fucking prison, you automatically give a DNA fucking sample and shit. Back then they didn't, so they had no reason to have his DNA in there, because the fact that they fucking even kept what they found at the crime scene was kind of amazing, because they didn't know what to do with it. So they've got this half the puzzle, but they don't have anything to compare it to. So this crazy turn of events, though, Joey, this older woman is found buying ammo and an ammo clip, and this observant cop, I think he was off duty, recognizes her, knows she's a felon, and can't buy that stuff, so he arrests her and brings her into the police station. I mean, how crazy is that?
Yeah, it's why. I mean, this is totally unrelated to any of the murders at this point.
Right.
This is literally just this officer. He was like, no, you're not allowed to possess those things. So, we're gonna make sure that you are not gonna possess those things. Plus, you got a whole fucking history of fucking being weapon happy and shit.
Yeah, but did they ever really say what after Donna, like how they?
That's where I'm confused too, because
I feel like he must have known her in some kind of personal aspect.
That's very possible, because
they knew of her.
Yeah, because I didn't see anything about that. Like, okay, obviously Doug is a fairy, oh boy, a fucking felon. But what did Donna do to become a felon? Like, because
I don't think she did anything. It was just that her fingerprints, it's her record.
Yeah, that's
still.
not helping your fucking case on what's coming up at all.
So like you said, I wonder if he knew her personally, because how else would he have known that she was a felon? I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's the one piece of the puzzle I was not able to figure out either.
But regardless, they did know that, and they fucking pulled her into the police station and got the DNA.
Right. So now she gets swabbed, and boom, they got a hit. But those cops are like,
they're like,
we got male DNA at the scene, but this is not a male.
Right.
If you look at this video of the interrogation, you see her. I mean, she's pretty rough looking, but she was a street person.
Yeah.
Crazy cat lady, they called her. So she's definitely rough. And so they thought that was a woman. And she was calling herself Donna Perry. So I don't know if she legally changed her name or if that was what she called herself.
Probably after, it probably legally.
Yeah.
Like everything else was fucking.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know if you could have played this off well enough or whatever. Be like, oh yeah, Doug Perry, that was my brother. That's why our DNA's the same. You know what I'm saying? Just some fucking crazy elaborate yarn that they're like,
sure.
Okay, well I guess we can't fucking say without reasonable fucking doubt that that's not true.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. That would definitely be some fast footwork to come up with some shit like that, right? So they arrest her. And they've got her DNA, and they're starting to put it all together. Now they've got on each of the victims, actually, ironically, there's some little piece of evidence, because the first victim, Yolanda Sapp, he got DNA on the blanket, so they got that. The second victim, they got something on her. I think some of her clothing that was in the dumpster.
Yeah, I doubt there's in garbage down the street.
Yeah, and then of course the Kathy Brisboe with the fingernail clippings. So yeah, they got him at all three of these. So I'm sure this was just at the time this happened, not nearly as commonplace in discussion as it is nowadays. Right. You hear about this a lot more. Kids in school and all this. So this is a thing that's much more prevalent now, at least in conversation. So this time, though, not so much.
No, the
90s.
Yeah,
right?
the fucking. It was a thing that people did, obviously, but it wasn't so, I guess,
mainstream.
Well conceived. Yeah, mainstream or
accepted
in the fucking society itself,
right,
as a whole, basically, as compared to before.
Yeah, I think so. So it's just really interesting to think about this case and all these things that make it so different than everything that we've talked about typically. And Joey, the cops start going through the apartment of Donna Perry, and they come across a closet that was sealed shut. Did you see that?
Yeah, it had a whole bunch of fucking women's underwear, just fucking memoirs from, the prior murders,
right,
that he did as Doug.
Right.
Yeah, they said they found a bunch, so like...
Yeah, they did.
So he might have been the Pink Giant that we're going to be doing coming up, stealing women's underwear from the landfill.
And for all we know, he could have been stealing those from fucking other people, or you never know. His trophies to him, for whatever reason he has trophies, might not always been just because he murdered them, but
and a woman having women's underwear in a closet isn't unusual. But they started to realize some of these were tied to the murders, like mementos,
right?
You know, so that's definitely interesting. On the documentary I watched about it, they show her being interrogated, as I mentioned, in 2012. And, she's saying Doug is dead and that she's now Donna Perry. And she claims she has no memory of anything that Doug did. It's up to debate whether you think she was like legitimately saying this or if she was just playing it up as a defense. She's got to say something. They got her DNA at each of the three murders. What the fuck else are you going to do? But it's fascinating to watch. She's definitely really wacky. And I'm assuming, that's what happened, is more of a, last ditch effort, something to say when you're, got backed into a corner. But, as I mentioned, the FBI was asked about this and they were told, we've never encountered a defense like this, and the only thing they told him is to make sure you refer to her as a woman because of the fact that she had the surgery. So you don't want to get her all miffed at you and all that sort of thing. So that was the only thing that really the detective that I saw said that was what they told him. And Chris, I can't imagine though how difficult that would be as a police officer to not step in it. You're an older guy, you're not really understanding that whole thing,
right? But still, you don't have to understand the whole transgender thing. DNA evidence is DNA evidence. That you did that as a person, you can try all you want and be like, no, that was somebody else. That was you, physically you committed those acts, and there's nothing that can change that, nothing at all.
Right.
Like
I
did
agree.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. So yeah, and Joey, I know you've talked before about how much you like to watch interrogation videos, but what did you think about that one, dude?
Yeah, the one with this one was interesting for sure. And you got somebody, I mean, if you talk about it nowadays, there's like the transgender, or I don't even, there's a lot of different gender things, but the ones that are like, say they have a dead name, like, you know what I'm saying, if you change your name and you call them by the name they were as a dude, if they're now a girl or whatever, they're like, oh, that's my dead name, you don't use that. Oh, wow. Like, oh yeah, Kevin, and it's like, no, I'm Brittany. It's like, no, you're Kevin. That's my dead name. So to think, would people believe that this person, once they transition, all of a sudden flipped over to you know what I'm saying? Maybe some of these people do believe that. So yeah, I'm not one to say one way or another, because it really blows my mind. But I'm with you guys. The fact is, the fucking DNA is out there, Right. It's the same fucking person. She was like, oh yeah, I don't know what Doug did.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, dude,
to those women. So she wouldn't even admit to any part of it. And it's like, her whole thing was, look, once I went over there and got the surgery, that completely killed off that person.
Yeah.
I was talking to Stephanie about it, and she was like, oh, because they were saying how, Donna was getting like $700 a month Social Security or whatever at that time, and Stephanie's like, oh yeah, I bet she fucking wouldn't fucking say no to it being Doug's Social Security she's been getting the whole time, though. You know what I'm saying?
Right. If it came in Doug's name,
that's not something she's pissed about. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What if she owed a bunch of money too? Like as Doug, would she assume that debt now? No, she'd fucking walk away. So.
But if somebody was giving Doug money, would take the money.
Exactly. So I think it's
and somebody else,
if it's convenient for you to say that, I don't know, but like you said.
Somebody else was, I was talking to somebody else about it too, and they were saying, they were like, oh well, if all of a sudden I change my name and now I'm a different, I'm Chuck, now instead of Gloria or whatever, does that mean all of a sudden now I don't have my college degree anymore? I don't have my career, because that person is the one that accomplished all that.
Exactly.
So now I am, so it's like, man,
immunized all over again.
Yeah.
Measles, mumps, so you got a shot.
It definitely seems selective as to what advantages you can, take advantage of, I guess. Not saying that that's the reason why these people are, that do that at all, but in people that can exploit it, like possibly the person we're talking about in this case, then that is pretty convenient,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Like you said, ain't nobody ever saw the fucking defense. This is the first time that
anybody,
and it's a head scratcher for like the prosecution, for the defense, even like how's this one gonna go? Like how's the jury? What's the jury think about all this?
That's fucking crazy.
It is. I mean, it's breaking new ground. So when the cops tell Donna about the DNA match, she doesn't know what they're talking about. They show her pictures of the victim. She denies knowing any of them.
Like every one of them.
Yeah. Like, she even goes as far to say that she wouldn't have anything to do with the black prostitute, but the first victim, Yolanda Sapp, was black.
Yeah.
And she brings up, that she was abused as a child. And it seemed, like we said, I mean, you get back anybody into a corner. I mean, anybody would do the same thing. I'm not faulting her for trying to throw everything at it, because what else are you going to do? They got you, so you're going to say whatever you got to say to try to wiggle your way out of it. And so, she also says once she started taking estrogen after the surgery, she has no memory of what happened to her as a male. So
that doesn't make sense either.
I don't, that doesn't seem to hold water with me, but I don't know. I've never taken estrogen. I don't know what Doug did,
but Donna won't do anything. There's no testosterone anymore. Like basically, saying just shit. Just like, but you remember this. I see what you're doing.
Right. Yeah. So you don't know. I mean, that's what, just that, like from her, for an attorney, that whole reasonable doubt thing. She says that the killing only stopped when Donna arrived. So it's this really weird conversation of her talking about her former male self and current female self. And, like I said, something that had never happened before in a criminal type of defense. And
she was saying whenever she got the reassignment surgery and stuff that cured her of her violent tendencies and shit.
Right.
And she was like, I went and got, basically what she's saying is, I went and had a procedure and I got cured. I had a problem and I went and got it taken care of.
Right.
But I don't. That's some fucking hard shit to sell to people.
No, and the research has found that that's incorrect. That doesn't do anything. As a matter of fact, I think in some studies they found it made it worse. So that's all bullshit that she's claiming there. But today we talk about people being identifying as both male and female, referring to themselves as they. So this is a lot more commonplace now, but back then certainly not. She breaks down eventually, says that she wants to die, asks one of the detectives to leave his gun in the room so she could shoot herself.
That's fucked up. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, she said that toward the end of the interrogation. Definitely some wild shit. So if you want to watch, some good interrogation stuff, just search Donna Perry or Doug Perry in YouTube, and you'll see the first thing that comes up is probably the one that all three of us have watched. Now, Chris, a criminologist on that documentary, said that Perry was killing the thing he hated, as we've been talking about.
Women, but so he was jealous. Doug was jealous of women.
Right.
Then went and became a woman. So, like, mentally, maybe might have thought that is a woman the whole time. And after the surgery, it's like, okay, I'm cool now. So either way, in your mind, you were always Donna. Because if that's what made you better, if Donna came, you were always Donna too. You were always Doug and Donna.
Right.
So I think just because you're pissed off that you weren't born with the fucking anatomy to have a kid doesn't mean you got to go kill chicks.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, for sure. That leap is definitely a fucking strange one. That's for sure. And Joey, they also bring up the fact that Doug had a girlfriend, Claire Ann. What was the deal with her? Because she was also a prostitute.
She was a prostitute, and this is the one person it seems like that there was an emotional attachment for. But the problem with it is that I guess it was more one-sided than Perry wanted to admit to. Because Claire Ann, it was just a business transaction, and whenever they were together for her, But something about her was just struck a fucking a nerve with him, or stayed with him, and
she was a glimmer in his eye.
That was the one he always remembered. Yeah,
he tried to get her off the streets, though. He said sometimes he did drive up to her on the street and pick her up and throw her in the car. Because he didn't want her out there prostituting herself.
And he was, said that he had a thing like he wasn't big on drugs. He didn't like people doing drugs. And that's Claire Ann, he was trying to keep her away from, A, the prostitution, and B, getting fucked up. And, what do you want? Do you want to fucking impregnate Claire Ann and, get her away from that whole lifestyle and actually have a kid?
Right.
Even though you can't have it in your own body? Like, what's the deal with it, and why was it that this person stuck with you for so long?
Yeah, why was he so obsessed with her about it that made him...
Yeah, but she winds up leaving. She doesn't want anything to do because, like you said, Joe, it's one-sided. So she takes off and it breaks his heart because he really did have feelings for her. And I wonder if that's when he kind of snapped. Because I don't know if he was killing before he met her or if that was after. But... I wonder if that's what, maybe made him snap and decide to become a woman.
He started killing, like, after they were together.
Okay.
So, yeah, that triggered something, I think, too, because she kept going at it. And now he's looking around at these other other fucking hoes, like, fucking hate you guys. Like, maybe he feels like she's watching them and they're pulling her away from him. So he's like, now I got to get rid of them to keep her.
Right. Yeah, it's a weird situation here for sure. The criminologist went on to say he believed that Doug Perry was jealous of the beauty the victims had, and went on to elaborate that he was killing them because they were squandering their beauty by selling themselves, as we've been saying. Doug did his best to keep Claire out of it, but, like I said, she winds up leaving. But, I don't think that stash of guns probably was too welcoming for her either. The crossbow hanging over the bed, that might have been a little weird.
I'm out pimping.
So I don't know, but you have to wonder, when she left, did he just totally go off the fucking rails? The criminologist also talked about his use of guns, and I thought this was odd. He said that, the .22 pistol being a somewhat effeminate gun, because he had all these other weapons like an AK-47 and some bigger handguns, the crossbow, pipe bombs, and all this stuff. But to me, I mean, if he is a gun enthusiast like he was, he knows a .22 is going to get it done and not make a fucking mess. I mean, what is he going to go in there with a fucking AK-47?
Yeah, like,
I mean, it's fucking, I'm just thinking for convenience
50
sake.
cal Desert Eagle, fucking.
Conceal, and keep that shit under a jacket or something, a .22 pistol. What do you think, Joey? I mean.
Yeah, easily accessible, I guess.
Yeah, I just didn't see that effeminate part of that. I would have thought, if you're picking a gun to bring to the fucking fight,
they're smaller rounds, and he was in close proximity.
Right.
Like, he's not shooting from far away. He's basically point blank.
Right.
A fucking .22 fucking goes
bounces
through your skull.
Around.
It's bouncing around and scrambling your brain.
Does a lot more damage than something bigger caliber that's going to
go through. Yeah, it scrambles your brain for real.
Right.
And the shitty and frustrating thing about this case is the fact that since it turned over to Donna and will no longer speak on Doug, you don't really know what was going on because she never elaborated on her motives and everything for the individual killings and all that. The reason why she chose the weapon she chose.
Right.
She never said any of that because she never admitted to the fact that she did any of it.
Exactly.
So, that's a good point. That's a good point, Joey. They also bring up the fact that Doug was pissed that he had to go to Bangkok, Thailand to get the surgery in 2020.
Well, that was your choice, dude.
Yeah. Or 2010. So, I would agree, with that, possibly that maybe got him more pissed off that he had to go over there and get that done, but I don't know. Now, Chris, it's no surprise the jury finds old Donna Perry guilty.
Yes. The fight that Kathy Brisboe fucking put up and got all that DNA led to that.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't, once we had the technology in the fucking crime community to get the fucking DNA results and build a fucking actual DNA profile.
Right.
Now they have it in the system. Now anything that you're running through there is going to pop up. And the fact that Donna there fucked up going to buy fucking ammo.
Yeah.
That the DNA says it all. You did that.
Exactly. Yeah, and like you said, I mean, it was just something that they had in the system. So once that person eventually did something stupid and got fucking caught, boom, then they got her DNA, and that's
especially
when the link
nowadays
was
with the 23andMe and all that shit, dude.
Right.
Like,
oh yeah, for sure. Now Joey Perry gets 3 life sentences with no parole, but that defense they tried just didn't seem to work, man.
I mean, it was still groundbreaking in my eyes as a defense to use.
Agreed.
And it was enough to fluster everybody to where they had to fucking really think on the issue, I'm sure. I don't know how long the jury deliberated for, but I'm sure there was quite a bit of fucking, talk and shit going on in there.
Yeah.
But it's wild too, because another, aspect of this case was, okay, so did Doug Perry commit these fucking murders And then was that his whole idea? Was that his end game, was to change his gender so that he could be like, oh, that person didn't do it, so now I'm a new person and I haven't committed no murders.
I thought about that too. Maybe that was the whole.
If he had won that case, that would have opened a terrible door for people to be able to fucking just switch off and on just to get away with all kinds of shit,
Definitely. That would have been a bad precedent to set.
Yeah. I believe that he was already on the path to wanting to become a woman beforehand. It might have conveniently coincided with the idea to use that as a defense later. I don't think that he initially was like, oh shit, now I gotta really fucking change up my shit. I think he was already headed that way.
I agree. I think that's what he always wanted to do. It was just was the end game. I agree.
Yeah, it isn't. He wasn't sitting there like, oh, I got to do more than like grow a beard and dye my hair. It's like,
yeah.
I got to do something.
Scott
drastic.
Peterson,
right? So Donna Perry is in Washington Correction Center for Women in Gig Harbor, Washington. And there has been some debate, of course, over that. The family of one of the victims had voiced their opinion that Donna should be serving her time in a men's prison, or at least in isolation from other women.
I could see that, but I think they ought to just like throw her in the men's prison. You fucking
yeah,
you're gonna get laid.
A lot. You know what?
A lot.
I don't understand. I think maybe it depends on what state you're from or something. I feel like we'd have to ask Tex this, but I feel like if you were in Texas and this case went down, that she would have been doing her time in a male facility because they're going to go off your biological sex.
And
maybe
even when you did the crime too, maybe like...
Yeah, I don't know. But Washington being a very liberal state,
right?
They're more like, okay, well, no, now you're a woman, so
that's
now you go to the women's prison.
So Tex,
I know,
if you listen and let me know, let us know what the deal is there. And
I know that Texas. Whenever when I was in prison, and of course I got out in 2003, so I was in there like 2000, so a long time or a while ago, but that was like, there were transgenders that were in there that were locked up.
Right.
And they were biologically men, but they were in there as women, but they were in the men's facility because that's what they were,
Okay. Interesting.
So it's weird to see now. I wonder if some of those same people, if they were to go to prison now,
probably
if they'd send them to a woman's.
Right.
Yeah, so it's fucking weird.
It is. It's interesting. It really is. So, what if, or he had I guess he had the surgery, so maybe that's part of the
full
thing.
Gender reassignment, not just like
because he can't be having a baby while he's in there, I guess. So
right. Now, one article I read mentioned there are over 150 other males now in Washington trying to get into that prison, and of course, that's no shocker. They've seen a big rise in assaults on female inmates from men who are transitioning to being a woman. So this is definitely a big hot button issue, and hopefully we don't get canceled over just tackling it. But I think we dealt with it, and I don't have anything more to say on the subject. Guys, you have anything to add?
I don't think so. It's an interesting one to fucking do, man.
Yeah, it's a challenge for sure because it's such an interesting angle to this story, So I did my research by watching that documentary on YouTube. It was called Making a Serial Killer from Season 1, Episode 4, which is how I heard about it. Read a couple of articles online about this, and I thought it would be a good one for us to do. There's not a lot of stuff out there on the case, but, if you're interested, search for Donna or Doug Perry on YouTube, and you'll see that one that we watched, that Making a Serial Killer. There is another one that was not available in the streaming service I looked at, but IMDb shows it, I think, in season 2 of a different series. And I'd love to see that one just to see if they talk about any of the things that we weren't able to find out from that one we watched.
Right. Yeah.
Because usually when you get a different one, they may touch on things that, the other didn't. So it's a fascinating one out there, and the interrogation stuff is interesting too. So check that out. Now, guys, next week, I watched a documentary again just the other day about this one. I'm pumped for some Paul John Knowles. That is some craziness.
Oh, yeah.
The Casanova Killer. I can't believe more people don't know about this dude. He has been on the list now for a couple of years at least. Murdered 18 people in 1974.
That's fucking
insane.
That's a fucking number, bro.
And they're showing a map, and this is like the real deal. Like, he killed in like 8 or 9 different states, zigzagging all over the country. He was in central Illinois, according to the map, which was fucked up. So very, very fascinating. But he would kill these victims, men and women. He would run up their credit cards and take their vehicle and pose as them, use their shit, and then kill somebody else and use their shit.
Here I go.
And this guy was unfucking believable. Very, very fascinating story. And I bet a lot of people aren't going to know about it. So I'm always psyched to do those, especially with a high body count like this. So, and the fact that, you know, when they arrested him, you know, he was murdered, so that was why, I'm wondering if that may be why a lot of people are not familiar with this one, because he didn't do, you know, the prison interviews and the, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But man, what a wild one. So that's next week. That's going to be good. And he also wanted to get his mom some money, so he thought that she should cash in on his story. So he was hoping that he would sell give his mother the rights to his story. But of course, his attorney said, well, you know, it's not going to work because you can't profit from your crime. And even if you could, the victims would sue the estate. And so there'd be no money.
Yeah,
there.
he still ain't getting the fucking money.
He kind of laughed about it on the documentary I watched. It was kind of funny. But that's going to be next week. That'll be good. Casanova Killer. Joey, any good page of days for us?
Yep, got some page a day.
Nice.
Fucking get right into this. May 5th, 2012. An Oklahoma man called 911 at least 17 times. In his emergency, a seemingly uncontrollable need for dirty talk, because each time he called, the man made sexual comments to the operators until the police responded to his home. When the police show up to his house, he goes, "Are you here to arrest me again?" And they did arrest him, because it wasn't the first time. He'd been arrested at least 3 times for making obscene phone calls to 911, and he was charged with making false reports. Yeah, like Chris said, you could hear the fucking 911. It's so fucking ridiculous.
It's because his phone was out of service, and 911 was the only number he was able to fucking call out to.
Wow. Fucking, what an idiot.
Ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. Wow.
All right. So this next one I got from Page Today. I wasn't originally going to say this one because it's fucking mostly common knowledge, but I did find one that I hadn't heard about before. So they're talking about serial killers from certain states. And the first one they're talking about, which is kind of cool because we were talking about Washington, but they're talking about Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer.
No, that's Robert Yates.
Right. So, of course, Ridgway, he got his nickname because he left his victims' bodies near Washington's Green River throughout the 90s. The next one they were talking about is Dean Corll. Of course, he's from down in Texas. Yep, the Candy Man, and lured boys into his van in the Lone Star State. He killed 28 boys in 1973, and we did Corll. Go back and listen to that one.
Yes, sir.
Brutal.
The next one, Ed Kemper, and of course he's hailing from California.
Right, co-ed
fucking
killer.
Co-ed killer, and fucking he did his murders throughout the 70s.
Skull fucking his mom.
That's fun.
Yep, skull fucking his mom. This one is a pretty. I know this case, but we haven't done it yet. But it's a pretty good one. And that is Mark Godot from Arizona.
Oh yeah,
and he's the baseline killer down there, and he was active in the summer of 2006, and in 2016 he was convicted of the murder of 9 women. So he's more of a recent case, but he's a good one that we should do for
definitely.
sure.
Yeah.
And then the last one, I had never heard of this guy before, so it was kind of cool. and this is Stephen Brian Pennell. Now, Stephen Brian Pennell, he is fucking the Route 40 killer, and he was active between 1987 and 1988, and his claim to fame is he is the only serial killer from the state of Delaware. So,
Okay.
Really?
cool.
Wow. Hang your hat on that one. Fuck yeah.
Right.
Delaware.
All right, so I got
Cross
one
that
more
off
thing
the
from
bucket list.
right. So I got one more thing from fucking Page Day. Now, we've all heard, we know what the Miranda rights are. We've seen all the fucking shit. We've been fucking told them.
Right.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Do you understand the rights I have read to you? With these rights in mind, do you wish to speak to me? Now, we've all heard about that shit, but how many people know who Miranda was, though?
That's a good
the
question.
person.
I've heard this before, dude.
So, Ernesto Arturo Miranda, this is a guy that was arrested in March 1963 for kidnapping, beating, and raping an 18-year-old woman in Arizona. He participated in a lineup of suspects, and police implied that he was positively identified. After 2 hours of questioning, he confessed. He proceeded to write down his confession on a piece of paper, and then the following was printed on the top of each sheet, in quotes. This statement has been made voluntarily and of my own free will, with no threats, coercion, or promises of immunity, and with full knowledge of my legal rights, understanding any statement I make can and will be used against me. Now, however, Miranda, who was not informed of his right to speak to an attorney or remain silent, now, based largely on his confession, he was convicted of rape and kidnapping, and he was sentenced to 20 to 30 years. His appeal was taken by lawyers from the ACLU, who argued his case, along with 3 similar cases, in front of the Supreme Court in 1966. The court ruled in favor of Miranda, and his conviction was vacated. Now, early 1967, Miranda was retried for kidnapping and rape. His confession was not admitted into evidence, but he was convicted, again, based on the testimony given by his common-law wife,
Right.
who said that he had confessed the crimes to her when she visited him in prison. So he was again sentenced to 20 to 30 years in prison, but he was paroled in 1972. And upon his release, he made some cash by selling autographed Miranda warning cards for $1.50 a pop.
Get the fuck out of here.
Miranda had some run-ins with the law after he was paroled, including several driving infractions. He spent a year in prison after being arrested for gun possession, which was a violation of his parole. And he was paroled again in 1975, and then on January 31st, he was fatally stabbed to death in a Phoenix bar fight. So that's Miranda.
That's the Miranda. That's who the Miranda rights are after.
Yeah,
Damn.
that's interesting. Very cool. Good page.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Good page a day stuff. Educating our listeners there. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we have done our fair share of murdering tonight. I think it's time to crank up the metal. So, Joey, what the fuck do we need to do?
Let's get our fucking metal
Just
on.
because CK has passed on, he's not done educating the masses. CK will forever be the great metal motherfucker. We're here to stomp poser ass and eradicate the planet of their kind. CK has passed the torch to us, and we will forge the fuck on. In CK's name, we will bestow metal knowledge upon all of you. All right, we are in the metal segment. Great metal motherfucker.
Great metal motherfucker.
Always
CK.
there. CK forever doing this kind of an homage to CK all the time. And what we've been doing is we pass the horns around, and when it's your turn with the horns, then you go ahead and do the pick the topic for the metal segment. And so,
Yes.
Joey, you're passing me the horns.
There you go.
We're doing it through the computer here.
We're doing it virtually.
I've got 3 goat horns here, and so it is my turn to discuss what I want to talk about. And what I decided on was an individual, because we've done that before. Joey, I liked your Morris sound last week. The week before that, we did Heavy Metal Parking Lot. Chris did Cock and Ball Torture in between that. But still, we've been doing some different things. And so tonight we're going to be talking about Alex Webster, the amazing bass player of Cannibal Corpse. Huge fucking beast. Definitely very influential on a lot of metal musicians, I'm sure, but bass players in particular. Just
and definitely in the metal
beast.
scene.
Yeah. So he was born in a small western New York town of Akron in 1969. So he's just a couple of years younger than me. Apparently he started playing drums when he was 3 with an empty butter container and Tinker toys for sticks. I thought that was funny.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. He wanted to play guitar as he got into his teen years, but then he switched to bass. He thought it would be easier, actually. He founded the band Beyond Death with former Cannibal Corpse guitar player Jack Owen. They found Chris Barnes and Paul Mazurkowitz playing in a different band, but then would end up combining and forming Cannibal Corpse in 1988. Alex actually was the one that came up with the name, and he said it was just more of a catchy name than any other reason, which is
I mean,
good.
It makes it. Yeah, it's like you see, like back in the day when you get in Rip magazine and all that shit, Circus magazine, like Cannibal Corpse.
Wow.
What the fuck, dude?
That sounds badass. Yeah, for sure. So, Alex and Paul are the only 2 original members of Cannibal Corpse still there, and these guys, of course, are like probably the biggest death metal band on the planet. Many fans remember their appearance in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, which was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And Alex has also done 2 side projects, the all-instrumental metal stuff, Blotted Science and Conquering Dystopia. I have heard Blotted Science, but not the other. But they're like all-star bands.
I've heard Blotted Science.
Yeah, very, very wicked shit. He's got his own Spectre bass line. I've got one of them, the Alex Webster collection. I've got it here in the studio with me. I took some pictures earlier, so if you're into Facebook, I'll post in our group. And also, I'm going to be adding a gallery to our website where I'm going to put a ton of pictures. I took a bunch off my phone and got them on my hard drive, so I'm going to be uploading a bunch of pictures from random stuff. I mean, every week we take pictures, so I've got like a ridiculous number of pictures on my phone that are from here in the studio. So I'm going to post a lot of those. So, he's just an animal. He plays with his fingers, which I always like because that's how I play. I can imagine many other bass players would be inspired by this guy. He's just an animal, and he's a nice guy. Very cordial, very good with the fans, just a good dude. I also saw that he had written some lyrics in Cannibal Corpse, which I didn't realize that. And
he did quite a bit of it. Him and Mazurkowitz.
Yeah, I didn't realize that Alex was a big part of that. So that surprised me. That was cool. And I saw that his favorite metal band is Slayer, by the way. So
I mean,
that's his
not
band.
a bad choice.
No, not at all. So he said if there was one band that they would cover, it would be Slayer. So that was cool.
He's not gonna, now that they don't have Chris Barnes, they're not gonna go full cover.
Probably not. So that's my deal there on Alex Webster. Just an animal, great bass player, and very influential. So I was already playing bass for quite a while before I even knew that he existed. So he wasn't as much of an influence on me, but I, of course, bought his bass because I love it. It's got the best tone of any bass I've ever played. It's amazing. So definitely digging that. The Spectre basses have always been known for being really good stuff, and this is the Euro 5-string version. So it's well made. That's for sure. All right, Joey, what about you with the Lost Classic tonight?
The Lost Classic I don't have much information on it, but it's a band called Organ Harvest, and the album is called Bowels Waltz. And
dude, yeah,
just a fucking badass album. But I remember whenever I got out of prison, so like 2003, before I had gone to prison, I was making like mix CDs off Napster and LimeWire and shit.
Right.
It'd take you all day to fucking download 10 songs. But it was really
Right.
so that whenever I got out, then fucking all of a sudden you could fucking get whole albums and shit like no problem and shit. And especially then, like it was way easier to get fucking full albums back then than it is now. Like I don't know. Anyway, fucking. So, Organ Harvest was one of the first ones that I fucking got, and I've had like the digital burnt copy on a CDR with a fucking, I printed out the cover as a CD fucking case. And cover and shit.
Nice.
And then I pulled it out of my CD book like a week ago and shit, and just been jamming that shit ever since. And I ended up finding the physical copy on eBay and ordering it, so I should have that tomorrow.
Oh shit, yeah, dude.
But yeah, so to me it was definitely a forgotten classic because it's something that I jammed the shit of back in like 2006 or 2005, and then all of a sudden come back and like, oh yeah, that's fucking good shit.
Is it death metal or like grindcore?
It's more grindcore, I'd say. Yeah.
Okay. Very
Got
cool.
some grooves and shit to it.
That's cool. Good lost classic.
Shit, yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
All right, what have we been listening to lately, Chris? What about you, man? In the nation,
I can't come up with anything offhand. I've been listening to podcasts. And
Don
shit.
Ho,
Huh?
Don Ho,
Yeah.
the Hawaiian music.
Yeah, that's what I'm listening
all
to.
right. Podcasts.
Nothing. Yeah,
A lot of
podcasts and
podcasts.
shit. Yeah.
All right. What about you, Joey?
Man, fucking weed is loud. Smoking some sherbet pie that I got from the fucking homies up in Royal Smoke, Michigan. Shout out to fucking them guys. But I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of different shit. Like I said, that fucking Bow Waltz, that's been on my fucking CD player for a while. I've also been listening to the County Medical Examiners. Fucking great band, Carcass Worship.
Yep.
Fucking, I don't know. Fucking, I guess that's mostly it. I've been jamming my buddy from DeKalb. He's got a band called Animal Activity, and it's pretty fucking sweet. It's all him, fucking one man shit, but he does like real drums and shit on it. He was the drummer in a band. Yeah, he was a drummer in a band that I was in, but I ended up getting his whole. He did the cover for my Horror Flicks 2 album. Actually,
Oh, nice.
Too, if anybody fucking jams my shit, but. Yeah, I fucking got his whole fucking discography off him, and it's cool because every album sounds just a little bit different. Like, one's more doomy than the other, one's more grind than the other, one's more death metal. So, I like how he's doing it. It's pretty fucking cool, and he uses a lot of like true crime and interrogation samples in his music.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, cool.
Fuck yeah.
Very, very cool. Well, I'll tell you, like I said, I've been going crazy with all this new stuff coming out, but I mentioned last week Idle Ruin, the band from Queensland in Australia, freaking killer. The album's called The Fell Tyrant, just came out. It's fucking amazing. Thrash with a little death metal, but a lot of thrash. Bone Church. Now, I've been doing some research for a short story I'm working on about these European bone churches where they built the fucking inside of the church with fucking human
Dude,
bones.
you were showing me those pictures. I was like, fuck.
Fucking insane. And a fucking chandelier made of fucking every human bone. It's like unbelievable. Google that shit if you're not familiar. But anyway, as I was watching stuff on YouTube about it, there was a band named Bone Church. So I'm like, okay, well, that might be kind of badass, you know?
Yeah.
So I watched the video, and I was totally surprised. It was not what I thought. I was thinking it was going to be like some death metal. It was really good. I mean, it sounded like Sabbath. Real trippy, but very Sabbathy, and even the vocals sounded like old Ozzy. I was like, these guys are fucking cool. Like, they're actually really good. And I downloaded, I paid for them, their Bandcamp, but they're both albums they've got. And I reached out to them about doing an interview. The guitar player was cool and responded. So they've got an album. It's relatively new called Acid Communion. And so if you like that kind of stuff, go check them out. And then this other band from Alabama, absolutely brutal death metal, Defense Wound, and the album is called Hymns of War. It just came out. I've reached out to all three of these bands I just mentioned, and all three of them want to do an interview.
Fucking A, dude. That's
so I'm going to
badass.
line them all up. The Australian band, the guys from Connecticut, Bone Church is from Connecticut, and Defense Wound from Alabama. But a really wide range, thrash, death, and like an old school kind of 70s vibe going on with Bone Church. But all three are fantastic. So that's what I've been listening to. Just going crazy with it.
Yeah, man.
Now, Chris, you got the horns next. Any plans on what you're doing, or are you keeping it top secret?
I have a plan, but I'm not going to say nothing. But I do have a plan.
Okay.
And I will send you a song as well.
Okay, thank you.
And it won't be like a Disturbed cover. It'll be an actual song.
Oh, okay. You're not going to do that to me?
No, I'm not going to do that.
All right. Well, that's a good tease for next week for sure. All right, if you're in a band and you want us to check you out, get a hold of us at pete@murdermetalmayhem.com. There's no guarantee we're going to play it or do a review or anything, but if we dig it, we just might. Joey's been doing lots of reviews here lately. I've been fucking forwarding him all kinds of shit because Imperative PR has got us on the list of the nastiest metal on the planet. They're sending it our way, man. It's fucking brutal as fuck. So I know it's Joey's thing. So Joey, I know you're pumping out the reviews. So if you want to do that, send it to us that way, or old school Murder Metal Mayhem, P.O. Box 554, Hayworth, Illinois 61745. Throw some stickers in there if you got any. Want to throw in a Pop-Tart or two, that'd be all right, but not necessary if you don't want to.
If you want to throw in some Pop-Tarts,
we'll eat them. We'll eat them. That's right.
Throw a little LSD on them. This podcast
don't
be real
do that.
good.
Please don't do
that. I'm just kidding.
All right, that's 666 Club we got, our Patreon. We appreciate those of you that are already members, but you could do that by supporting the show for $3 a month and join that 666 Club at patreon.com/murdermetalmayhem, and I'll link to that in the episode description. All right, well, I think we have done plenty of metal tonight, so Chris, what the fuck are we going to do?
Let's get our memo. Fuck yeah.
Have you ever been on the verge of snapping the fuck out? Well, stress no more. Don't kill everyone in your house over a lost remote or misplacing the day's mail.
Fuck you, bitch! Where's the goddamn remote?
Call us today at Benoit Anger Management. We can help. Don't find yourself doing a 15-year bit for assault or more time if you wind up going nuts and killing everyone in sight.
I told you to shut the fuck up!
Holy fuck.
Wow.
I mean, Meister meant that shit.
Meister meant all that. Yeah, and Wes Pollock, former Low 12 guys doing that when they were here in the studio. But wow, some Benoit Anger Management, pretty brutal shit. And before that, some Cannibal Corpse, Surround, Kill, Devour from the last album. Pretty nasty stuff. And so good talking about some Alex Webster. Definitely worthy.
Word, dude.
Killer bass player. All right. Now we are in Mayhem, and Joey, you made a promise. You had some Mayhem for us tonight. So what do you got up your sleeve there?
I got some Mayhem. Now, usually whenever we talk about it, or a lot of our Mayhem, it's, pretty lighthearted and a lot of funnier shit, a lot of stupid shit. But tonight, tonight this shit's not too funny at all. But right, but anyhow, Pete, you saw it earlier in the week. I ran across an old episode of Forensic Files, and they were talking about a case that happened. And it was actually a case that happened where I grew up, and involved like some.
I remember you just posted.
Yeah,
that.
so it was kind of wild because I had never seen that episode of that before, and it just like brought back a whole lot of shit. So, for the Mayhem tonight, I was gonna tell like a little bit about that, and then a little bit about this other case that happened, and these are pretty much probably like some of my earliest experiences of what started my infatuation, I guess, with true crime and things of that nature. So, the case that they're talking about in Forensic Files, they call it fucking real danger, like real, like fishing reel. So, if you want to, want to look it up, you can find it on there. It's on Cold Case Classics. But anyway, this is crazy. So, like, I think this was around. It was 1989, I think, or 1990. It was somewhere in there. But at that time, I used to hang around with these kids, and one of these spots that we always hung out at was down at this like creek. It wasn't even a river; it was more like a creek than anything. And we would hang out there and go fishing, and you catch frogs and shit like that. And I remember like that was like one of my first times like. I was learning what a copperhead was, copperhead snake. I didn't know what that was,
yeah.
And one of the older kids had killed one out there, so like that was the first time I'd ever seen like an actual like poisonous snake, I think, in the wild. So that was crazy. But anyway, I ended up leaving for that summer, and like I did most every summer at that time, I used to go up to my grandparents' house in Maine. Me and my sisters, and my grandparents would take us for 2 weeks, and then my mom would come back and get us or whatever. But so this is while I was gone, so I wasn't there, or I'm glad I wasn't there. I mean, I'm not saying that anything bad would have happened or whatnot, but anyway, in regards to what did happen, so these kids, it was, I believe, 2 16-year-olds and a 15-year-old, and they were from the neighboring town in New London. Now, New London is a lot rougher of a town than Waterford, Connecticut is and was. It's still the same way, basically.
Right.
So, a lot of the kids over there were a little bit different than the kids that I used to hang out with and shit. You just kind of watch yourself, I guess. But anyway, so these kids, the 3 boys, they ended up coming up on these other 2 kids, a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old. 10-year-old's named Tom, 13-year-old's name was Jeff. And they found them at that creek, fishing, and they had a baseball bat, and they grabbed some rocks, I believe, but they ended up pummeling both of the boys. They hit the one, Jeff, like super, super bad. He was laid out in the water. The 10-year-old kid, I think he kind of played possum and hid under the water, basically, so that the boys would think that, he was messed up too. And they ended up leaving. They ended up taking their bikes and leaving, and left them in the water for dead. The 10-year-old kid, Tom, he came out afterwards, and he grabbed the 13-year-old boy, and he actually carried him to somebody's house. And, they were able to save him, but he suffered, like, crazy brain damage from this. Like, it was really, really, bad scene or whatever. So, I found out about it afterwards. My mom, whenever she came back, she had, like, the newspaper clipping and all that, and she was like, "You knew him, didn't you?" And she was asking me about that, but that really fucked me up, to hear about that, and then he'd got knocked out, and then like, so then you watching the Forensic Files thing was really crazy too, because then there were things about that case that I had no idea about until I saw that, and one thing wasn't something I just forgot about it, but before the incident at the river, they had gone to a lady's house before that, and they had the ball bat and everything beforehand. So I mean, it was pretty much like that's what they were trying to do, was hurt somebody. I think was the whole deal.
Go fuck somebody up.
They stole their bikes and shit, but I don't think that was like the whole reason. Like I think they just did it because it was, you know, fucking convenience or whatever. But so they went to this lady's house, and the one boy goes up to her house, and he tells her that he's diabetic. And that, you know, he's having a fit or whatever. So she brings him in the house and gives him some juice and shit. I mean, these are fucking young kids, you know. And she notices that whenever he leaves, that he joins up with two other boys out in the back of her yard. And, you know, that's whenever, you know, she basically shooed them off and, you know, wouldn't let them back in the house or whatnot. But in hindsight, people were thinking that they might have been trying to use her as their first victim or whatnot, and then since that didn't work out, they just kept on and ended up finding the two boys. They ended up linking them, which is the whole point of the reason they did the forensic files, because there was some kind of organism that was living in the water at that pond, and they ended up finding it on those boys' shoes. So it was kind of a record breaking or a groundbreaking case at that time. So that's pretty cool too. But it was just really fucked up because like that was a real experience. I remember growing up, and it definitely, you know, fucking like sent me on
place
that
you
path.
hung out.
Yeah, like that.
That place you hung out, people you knew.
Yeah, the snakes were like, that's what I thought was scary then. You know what I'm saying? I never even thought about some other shit like what had happened. So that like definitely opened my mind up to you got to be a lot more careful. And I don't know, it changed my outlook of the world, knowing that. And then, so then the other thing is also from Waterford, Connecticut, and this is probably the biggest impact on me. Whenever, I think this was like 1989 or 1988, I can't remember. I think I was 9 years old when this happened. But there was a lady named Marilyn Norton. She was a 38-year-old woman. And she ended up jumping off the bridge in New London and killed herself, like in the early morning hours or whatnot. And they later found out that her daughter, 6-year-old named Jordana, she had been stabbed to death by her mother, presumably, and she was killed in her bed. And Jordana was my oldest sister's best friend at the time. And
shit.
I remember, I just remember waking up and seeing my mom staring at the TV, and she was watching the news about it, you know, and I had no idea what was going on at that time, but I will never forget my mom's face, though. And I'll also never forget seeing my sister whenever they were taking her out of the school after she had found out what happened, because I think they probably told everybody all at once, you know, the kids, because they were in kindergarten.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they were in kindergarten at the time, maybe first grade, but, you know, I just remember her crying as they were carrying her out, and that was crazy, and that was a big case to me. And I think one of the biggest reasons that this is that's always stuck with me is because I never understood or knew, and will never know, why her mom did that. Like, what was the reason behind it, you know?
Right.
And I ended up finding out a couple of the news articles about this later on, you know, like in recent years, but there's really nothing about it besides, you know, the initial news story about, you know, murder, suicide, or whatnot. But
right.
That's just, I didn't understand that then, and still to this day I don't understand, like, why did you kill your child? You know, what was going on in your mind that you thought you had to do that and then go kill yourself? Like, there's unanswered questions there, and it will eat at me until the day I die, for sure. I'll never stop wondering about that. So I definitely feel like it helped fuel my looking into all the true crime stuff to try to understand as much as I can. So that's my Mayhem.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's some-
fucking crazy. Being
definitely some
connected to
brutal
two
shit.
different things like that is fucking insane,
Yeah,
bro.
it is, dude. That is. All right. Well, you know what else is insane is some Killer Cage
Fucking
match.
Killer Cage match, baby.
So that's where we take a list of 75 killers, 75 objects for them to fight with, and a variable and a song playing. It's going to be crazy. And we got some listeners, Chris, we want to say thank you to.
Yeah, once again, we have Laura, Mrs. C.K. Kovacs. We got Ray, call me Daddy McFalls.
Always.
And we got Clarence the motherfucking Dillon.
Hell yeah.
I got to give you a little moniker or something in there somewhere, dude. Everybody else has one. I don't know.
That's right. Well, thank you guys for helping us decide who's going to fight and what they're fighting with. And Joey, we got an interesting one tonight.
Yeah, we got fucking BTK, Bind, Torture,
You know.
Kill, Dennis Rader going up against BTK, badass Tommy Karate himself.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But yeah, we got fucking little mob action against a little fucking dog catcher action.
Right. Yeah, should be an interesting one tonight. And they're going to have a couple of objects, Chris. What are they fighting with here?
Tonight they have a garbage bag full of cat shit.
Yuck.
Gotta love those.
Is it like petrified cat shit, you think?
How big's the garbage bag?
Like a full size, like a kitchen garbage bag.
Yeah, like, okay, all right, no more kitchen. That makes sense. That's a lot of shit. And they got a fucking snapping turtle.
Oh, we've had the snapping turtle.
Yeah.
We've had the cat shit too.
We've had them both, but yeah, we've had it all.
All right, so there's their objects. And Joey, what about the variable this week?
The lot lizard after drinking a 12-pack with Michael Shaw back. We've had that one.
Oh
God
boy, damn. So that's interesting.
She better have her own fucking 12-pack if you're drinking with my brother.
And the song playing is "My Heart Will Go On," but it's not the Celine Dion version. It's my Kiiller karaoke version of it. So that's what's playing while this shit is going on. We got BTK Dennis Rader going up against Mob Hitman Tommy Karate, and they got a garbage bag filled with cat shit and a snapping turtle. There's a lot lizard after drinking a 12-pack with Chris's brother Michael, and the song is "My Heart Will Go On," but my version of it, not the lame fucking version of it. All right, Chris, how do we peel this fucking onion tonight?
What? No, like, God damn. Man, I got to go with basically like Michael's fucking not even caring about all girl fucking with her 12-pack. Fucking, he's got his own 12-pack. He's drinking, watching all the action. So he's chilling. He ain't even, he's
I
like,
agree.
yep, fuck it. So then you got Dennis Rader and Tommy Karate and the Lot Lizard. So Rader's already got the bag full of cat shit because he's not in kill mode right now. He's in home life mode. His wife's told him to take out the garbage, all that shit. He's like, fuck.
Plus, he's a dog catcher, so he'd probably be concerned about where's this cat shit gonna go.
Exactly. He's fucking just like taking care of business. Meanwhile, Tommy Karate, he fucking trying to pimp this Lot Lizard out to Dennis Rader to fucking...
Yeah.
He's like, hey, yo, dude. Fucking Dennis Rader ain't having it, though. He's like, my wife and kids are in the other room, but I got another room. So they go in another room. Fucking Dennis Rader fucking has that snapping turtle. It's a big snapping turtle. He fucking gives it to the Lot Lizard, and she just like takes off. She's done. She's drunk as shit. Got a fucking fat turtle. Now it's just Dennis Rader and fucking Tommy Karate.
Oh boy.
Tommy Karate just like this big bag
Roundhouse
backside
kick
roundhouse kick, fucking kicks Dennis Rader in the fucking face like that, drops him. He's like, now put on makeup and a dress. And Tommy Karate gets the win.
All right, I like that. I like that. I think Tommy's taking him to the fucking bathtub with the hacksaw, right?
Definitely.
Joey, what do you think, dude?
I don't know. It's a weird one going on in this one, but I guess whenever that fucking bell rings, every person in that ring is so confused as to why My Heart Will Go On is playing at the Kiiller Cage match that's hosted by Murder Mel Mayhem. They just don't understand what's going on. Now, Tommy Karate being a fucking little bit smarter of a fighter himself, he's only bespectacled by that for 1 second before he realizes he has to kick into action. He does a little fucking, he does a couple backflips, fucking does a little twist off the fucking side of the cage, and then roundhouse kicks Dennis Rader right in his fucking jaw. Dennis Rader's like, God damn, you didn't have to do all that, man. You could beat my ass to begin with because I'm not very strong. Fucking, what the hell's your problem? He goes over and he fucking grabs that bag of cat shit because he knows for a fact that is over-regulation for a cage of our capacity to have that much cat shit in it. So he's fucking pissed. He wants to write us a goddamn fine to Murder Metal Mayhem for being fucking negligent about our fucking animal feces.
Too much
goddamn
accumulation of cat shit.
Too much defecation. Too much overall defecation. But yeah, fucking. Anyway, so fucking back to it. Tommy Cry whooping his ass. But Dennis Rader, he's got that cat shit. And he was like, you know what else I know about? Some snapping turtles. Because fucking I'll be catching them down in the creek with my fucking Boy Scouts whenever I'm down there fantasizing about it. He's like, man, I've only dressed up about 3 Boy Scouts in dresses themselves and taking pictures, so that's not really that bad. Mostly I'm a good guy, but just part of me is a bad guy, so I only dressed 3 kids in dresses. And one time, speaking of the snapping turtle, whenever he had the Boy Scouts out on a camping trip and they were all fucking in the woods, he did find the snapping turtle and let it bite down on this one boy's testicles and instantly came all over himself. But anyway, we're off on a tangent. Getting back to the cage match, he fucking grabs that snapping turtle, fucking tweaks the snapping turtle's butthole with his finger until it fucking starts freaking out, snapping Hungry Hungry Hippo style, and fucking puts it on Tommy Karate's balls to fucking start smashing them bitches. Now, what he doesn't realize is Tommy Karate, not only does he work out his badass biceps and fucking calf muscles, he works out his fucking testicles, so he don't give a shit about a fucking snapping turtle. He's got a test on his balls against 7,000 pounds snapping turtle capacity. He don't give a fuck. So he just sits there, he watches that turtle all on his balls just chomping and continues to karate chop fucking Dennis Rader in the throat until he's dead. The lot lizard is so impressed by Tommy Karate's fucking moves, and she's just she's not really drunk because the 12-pack, that ain't shit to her, but she comes over and she offers fucking Tommy Karate a freebie on the house, 1 blowjob for him for being so badass in the cage match.
Tommy wouldn't fucking sink that low.
He wins all around. He is definitely the winner.
Definitely, I agree. All right, how can you vote against Tommy Karate in that situation? All right, very cool. Well, our listeners sure love some killer cage match, and we do too. And so that was good. Yeah, that was funny. All right, my writing. If you're into horror and suspense and thrillers and that sort of thing, go to PeteAltieri.com. I'll link to it in the episode description. I got some free writing samples on there, a few different short stories, some parts of my novels. So there's plenty to check out. If you like what you read, then buy a book. I've got a few of them on there. I got short stories, novels, whatever you like. So go check that out in the episode description. Also, our Murder Metal Mayhem website. You can listen to the show. You could subscribe to our email list. You could check out the online store. We got 2 different shirts on there. The original shirts are gone. So what's out there is what we got left. And the zombie shirts that Jeff Gaither designed, I got bunches of those. So get on there and buy that stuff. Got our activity book. We're going to be doing a new one here coming up, but you want to get the original. It's freaking amazing.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought we did a good job.
We did. I mean, you could color Ricky Casso. I mean, what more do you need? And we got the Murder Metal Mayhem die-cut stickers on there, too. So check that out. And you could join that 666 Club for 25% off if you do it on our website. So murdermetalmayhem.com. All right. Well, I think we've done plenty of mayhem tonight. So let's hit the outro.
Criminal laws, dusting upon your full mentality bound. There is no sanctity, none falling to hell. The dogs should wait for their prey, no escape from the sands of sea. Into the fortress, into the bay, prisoners carried into the ports, the shores of hell, the tyrant awaits. merciless torment. Rain with a lash, blood cascading from the waist onto the cobblestone tail of the
Fuck yeah, man. Some Idle Ruin, the band I mentioned last week. I told the guys I was going to play them tonight, so hopefully they're listening over there in Brisbane, Queensland in Australia. So that's fucking awesome. Shit. And that song is the title track for their new album called The Fell Tyrant. So if you like that, go give them a listen. Definitely digging that album. All right, Joey, what bumper music did we spin tonight?
Tonight for bumper music, we had Cannibal Corpse, Idle Ruin, and the Cattle Decapitation with the gender reassignment surgery.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
Forced gender reassignment.
Forced, yeah.
Forced
stressing
gender.
The forced part of that.
Yeah, that, like I said, that video.
Go check the video out if you don't know what we're talking about.
If you want to be disgusted.
It's pretty bad. All right, Chris, what about that metal segment intro?
Always in the metal. We got fucking Chrysix with the great metal motherfucker.
Hell yeah. And the Murder Metal Mayhem intro by Low fucking 12. Thanks to all of you guys out there listening. We keep, seeing those, statistics and just really humbling. So thank you very much. And keep spreading that word. Tell your friends about it. Your mom, your grandma, your Aunt Sally, whatever the fuck you got to do. And Chris, what about that first comment?
Right here we got Jim Pittsburgh Evans says, I love this podcast. I've told a bunch of people at work about you guys. I really love the H.H. Holmes episode you did and that wild tag team fight. I'm a listener from San Jose.
Hell
Fuck
yeah,
dude.
Thanks
Jim.
for
listening, dude.
Hell yeah. He's got Pittsburgh in his name, but he's in San Jose.
Hey, man.
Moving around. All right, Joey, what about that second one?
The second one is Annie Smith 22. Said, love your prison episode so much. The San Quentin one was awesome as always. I love it when Tex is a guest with you guys. My sister and I listen to you every week in Phoenix.
Hell yeah, very cool.
Hell yeah.
All right, Endo Killer Kush comments, hails to you from Germany. I love Murder Metal Mayhem, the best podcast for killers and heavy metal. Thanks for reminding me about heavy metal parking lots. So classic. So
yeah.
Fuck yeah, Endo. Thanks, dude.
And then we got
classic.
Hey, dude,
always.
Definitely, dude. Made into a segment.
Right?
Oh, yeah. And then we got Roxanne Redmond says, I just listened to that Hakeem Kroll episode. Hakeem. That guy was disgusting, but you guys always making fun to be grossed out. I'm in Hartford, Connecticut.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Thanks, Roxanne.
That we can gross you out.
Yeah. And, Joaquin Kroll, definitely a fucking disgusting son of a bitch, All right. Well, very cool. You can pick up a copy of my latest book, Slab of Sickness, Terror on the Tracks. Check the episode description for your way to get one with a poster and bookmark at PeteAltieri.com. Also, our MurderMetalMayhem.com. We mentioned that. That's our website. Get all kinds of good shit there. Joey, how about your distro, man? What's the latest?
Hit me up. Everything's slow motion for me, fucking getting my Goremonger shit out. But I got the Holy Cost and Blondie Fesser, Boobies, Beer, and Booger Sugar, Machete Dildo's new one. I got some other shit that I need to put up in the fucking merch list. But yeah, hit me up. I got some shit. Fucking, I am getting close to getting the new Goremonger shit out, though. If anybody wants to, it was pretty cool. I actually had somebody hit up my Bandcamp, and I think on Fridays they do, like, fucking free Fridays or whatever where they don't really take out fees.
They waive their fees, yeah.
Yeah. And I had somebody basically give me $50 for, like, most of all my albums, which is cool for the fact that everything that's on my fucking Bandcamp, except for my newest album, is available for free anyway. So him giving me $50 was just like fucking donations, really cool. Basically. Yeah. So because they let you pay what you want if you want to, to support the band, which is cool.
Right.
But so if anybody out there, does the streaming thing and isn't really into like the physical merch and wants to hear the Goremonger shit, definitely go check out my Bandcamp because you can find everything I've got on there. So.
Dude, I love Bandcamp. I got the app on my phone now. I use it all the time. I'm at least buying an album a week on there, at least. Usually it's 2 or 3 because they're so cheap. They're like $5 or $6, maybe 10 at the most. And that's like, the major label stuff, so there's a lot of shit out there, and I like the downloads because the MP3s are a higher quality, so when I use them on the show, so I'm trying to help out the cause by buying them. And if you do them on Fridays, not every Friday, but certain Fridays, they waive their fees on those days. So those are the days to do it because the band gets all the money. So that's great.
Yeah, exactly.
And I buy shirts that way too. I bought, as a matter of fact, I just bought a band shirt using their Bandcamp app. So, there's all kinds of merch on there. It's quite a bit of stuff. And you could subscribe to them so you stay up on if they got a new shirt coming out or a new CD. You'll find out about it with a notification. So it's just good shit. Yeah. All right. So I'll link to Joey's distro in the episode description. You can like us on our Facebook group page. We got a Twitter, YouTube channel. We got our Patreon to support the show, so we appreciate that. And all that stuff's in the episode description.
Yeah.
Well, we can't let him go without hearing a karaoke song, so crank this shit up. And until next time, keep one foot in the gutter.
And keep your penis in its place.
If you see a painted sign at the side of the road that says 15 miles to the
Love Shack, yeah, yeah. I'm heading down the Atlanta highway, looking for the love getaway, heading for the love getaway.
I got me a car, it's as big as a well, and we're heading on down to the Love Shack. I got me a Chrysler, it seats about 20, so hurry up and bring your jukebox money.
The Love Shack is a little old place where we can get together. Love Shack, baby.
A Love Shack, baby.
Love Shack, Love Shack, Love Shack, Love Shack, Love Shack,
Baby, that's where it's at. Love, baby, that's where it's at. Sign says, stay away, fools, 'cause love rules at the Love Shack.
Well, it's set way back in the middle of the field, just a funky old shack, and I gotta get back on the mattress, glitter on the highway, glitter on the front porch, glitter on the highway. The Love Shack is a little old place where we can get together. Love Shack, baby.
Love Shack, baby.
Love Shack, that's where it's at. Love Shack, that's where it's at.
Hugging and a kissing, dancing and a loving, wearing next to nothing 'cause it's hot as an oven. The whole shack shimmies. Yeah, the whole shack shimmies. The whole shack shimmies when everybody's moving around and around and around and around.
Everybody's moving, everybody's grooving, baby.
Folks lining up outside just to get down.
Everybody's moving, everybody's grooving, baby.
Funky little shack. Funky little shack, yeah. Hop in my Chrysler, it's as big as a well, and it's about to set sail. I got me a car, it seats about 20, so come on.